defense where he doesn't have to be Superman and put the cape on too often.
All right, well, we just talked about Josh Allen in the first hour and said it's on him. He's got to get him over the top. What do you do with Lamar in this situation where now there's a new young head coach on the defensive side of the ball, but we don't have an offensive coordinator yet?
Well, I'll say if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm taking it amongst myself to look at, okay, I'm going into year 9. I've been in the league for 8 years. I've been an MVP twice. Could have won it a third time. But clearly that wasn't enough to host up a Lombardi Trophy. So as an individual, I'm becoming more dedicated. I'm becoming more obsessive. I'm taking care of my body a lot better so we can probably get over that hump and host up that Lombardi Trophy. Jesse Minter, the previous 2 head coaches were able to win a Super Bowl. When you look at Brian Billick and you look at John Harbaugh, Jesse Minter is now the 3rd over the last, 25, 30 years?
30 years.
4 coaches in their history.
30 years. So now this is an opportunity for Lamar Jackson and Jesse Minter to connect together and doing something for Jesse Minter as his first time being a head coach. I'm not worried about Lamar. I just think you have to become more obsessive with your craft when you haven't got over that hump or won that Super Bowl. So obviously what you have been doing up until this point is not enough, right? You're the face of the franchise. You're the one everyone is counting on. I get it, the defense has to be great. But take it amongst yourself to say, I got to do more in order for us to be better.
There feels like there's a bit of hysteria in New York City over the Giants not having an offensive coordinator yet. It's very quiet in Baltimore. Joe, you know how this thing all works here. What isn't your concern in Baltimore right now?
Talent. You make good points about the defense. There's always room for improvement, but I think ultimately with Baltimore, it's going to come down to that mindset of how they perform in the big spots in the playoffs. Like they had never gone into the playoffs and lost to Kansas City because Kansas City had more talent than them. They lost because they couldn't handle the big spot, because Lamar had uncharacteristic turnovers, because Mark Andrews maybe had an uncharacteristic drop in Buffalo. Those are the things that creep into the mind of a team that can seemingly run through a regular season, dominate you, and then get to the big spot and shudder a little bit. That's what Minter needs to do. The culture needs to be about one which, like New England, we don't care what the situation is. We don't care who you are. We're going to keep throwing. We're going to throw until the end.
Buffalo's at home, right?
Yeah.
Why? No defense, right? When you look at the 2 teams in the Super Bowl, they don't have all-star caliber quarterback play. It's not about that. When you get into cold weather games, bad weather games, it's about how can you stop teams, right? You talk about no offensive coordinator in New York, New York or in Baltimore, right? It doesn't matter. The Giants, when they drafted Harbaugh, brought him there to get back to the brand. And the brand, whenever the Giants won Super Bowls, was about defense and running the football. Like, all this fancy stuff is cool, but it's like having a sports car. It's always in the shop. You can always win with a great defense and a run game, and I think that's what the Ravens are getting back to. And I think they have to get a head coach that can teach Lamar, the offense coordinator that can teach Lamar about championship football. And that's somebody like Doug Peterson or Frank Wright that can show him, you're great, but let me show you how to win this title.
Okay, veteran head coach. You're looking for a veteran Philadelphia Eagles. They hire Sean Mannion as the offensive coordinator. You're like, Sean Mannion, the old Oregon State quarterback who's been a backup in this league for many years, spent a year with the Packers last year as their quarterbacks coach, is now the offensive coordinator of a team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I asked for this from the producers. Could we get a little Oregon State Sean Mannion footage? Just so you guys, this guy had a cannon in college and had an absolute blast with Brandon Cooks, the wide receiver. Mannion was his guy, had a really decorated career in the Pac-12, played for many teams in the NFL, primarily the Rams and the Vikings, finished with the Seahawks, and now is going to be the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the most microscopic jobs in the league where all eyes are on you. Bart Scott, your thoughts on a guy who has never called plays in the NFL and is fresh off the playing field?
I mean, that job will make you famous. Or infamous. It all depends on how you look at it. He has tremendous opportunity with a lot of great weapons. Let's see what he learned in Green Bay with LaFleur and see if he can turn that into like a offense that can give a fresh look for a guy like Jalen Hurts. Harry talked about putting him under center, being able to play with play action, being able to turn his back to the sidelines. But I think it's fractured there, and I wonder why so many veteran play callers did not decide to go there and take that job. From the outside looking in, it looks like a tremendous opportunity. You go there 1 year, you help win a Super Bowl or be in a meaningful game, you get a head coaching job the following year. Some people said no, especially Brian Daboll.
The names were Daboll, Mike McDaniel was thrown around there. There were several, whatever it is, what was actually on the table was a situation where The last offensive coordinator had his house egged by the fans, and obviously the offense didn't get going. What can Sean Mannion bring to this team to get them back on track?
I think the first thing is not having the offense be so stagnant. There are so many times where we watch Jalen Hurts in this offense and guys being spread out within this offense, and the defense basically knows what's coming or what they're going to run. You're going to see a lot more shifts, a lot more motions, the quarterback under center, in which that helps the quarterback out and the offense entirely, and Saquon Barkley, because there are a lot of things that can go on when the quarterback is under center. I had Matt Ryan on my show the other day, and he talked about when you're in the shotgun and you're in the pistol, the defense can pretty much have a T on some of the things that you're doing, and you can cut down on a lot of things that you have to prepare for when the quarterback is in the shotgun and the pistol versus being under center.
Your thoughts?
Is Jalen Hurts going to run the ball more? Because we blame the coordinators, and I understand that, but his design runs dropped off by about 40% this year. And he wants to preserve the body? Fine, understandable. But, if he's not running, can this offense get back to what it was when he was running?
It's a high-pressure job, and Sean Mannion has it. We're going to talk about the other team in the NFC East when we get back. This is the Giants situation because they thought Todd Monken was coming. And Todd Monken got the job as the Browns head coach. So the Giants have a giant decision to come up. Who is going to run the offense? All that as Get Up rolls on.
Guy who, someone like me at least, I've been fantasy booking seeing Obafemi and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That's a dream match for me. And we'll get to see Obafemi's true main roster debut at the Rumble. So to me, it's about the youth in the men's match.
I saw Paul, he was on McAfee yesterday saying he is in the best place in his life right now. He's dialed in and he feels great. And I'm like, he could win the Royal Rumble. What about the women's side? Who do you got in that one?
Well, listen, my dream scenario for the women's match may just be a dream. I would love to see Bianca Belair come back from injury. She's been gone a long time. She's one of the greatest ever. I'd love to see her come back and win this whole thing. That would obviously be a huge surprise should it happen. I have not seen her here this week, but you never know. It's the Royal Rumble. Besides that, it pains me to say it because she's a terrible person. But Becky Lynch, she's on fire. She's the IC champ for a reason. She's one of the greatest of all time. Always a threat. So is Charlotte Flair. And then back to the youth. I'd love to see what Lash Legend could do in this event. Someone with her strength, her athleticism. This is a really big moment. She's been killing it on SmackDown recently. So I'm curious to see what Lash Legend brings as well.
You compared it to the NCAA tournament earlier where it's like you don't watch all regular season, but you do tune in. That's how I feel with the Royal Rumble. So give us a little bit of a primer on this rivalry. AJ Styles and Gunther.
So this is, Pete, this is like such a cool thing to me that we're having this moment in AJ Styles' career. You got Bart Scott on set right now, okay? Bart was in TNA. He remembers what AJ Styles was doing. And for years, wrestling fans like me couldn't even imagine AJ Styles being in WWE. 10 years ago at the Royal Rumble, AJ Styles debuted